best-selling book turned marketing fiasco? Let's talk about It Ends With Us. Created by the Colleen Hoover, this flick stars Blake Lively as Lily Bloom. Lily finds herself entangled in a cycle of abuse, starting with her father and ending with her husband Ryle, played by Justin Baldoni. Now here's where it gets interesting. The marketing team really dropped the ball here, advertising it as a romance rather than what it really is, which is an exportation into domestic violence.
It's fun, it's romance, there's hot guys, there's hot girls.
From the clips that I've seen on TikTok and YouTube, Justin seems to be the only one that's bringing up these core issues.
As a man, I'm always going to come with my own biases. It's one of the reasons I was afraid to direct this movie, let alone act in it.
I feel like they're glossing over the domestic violence to get more butts in seats. I don't know. This was a missed opportunity to shed a brighter light on a tragically common problem. Unfortunately, the film doesn't quite hit the mark either. In the book, Ryle's true colors are much more evident, but in the movie, it seems like his villainous tendencies are locked in a closet somewhere. So during this movie, I was sitting in the lower rows, and I found myself sitting next to a bunch of teenage girls. And I found them swooning over Ryle and giving Atlas the side eye. They were totally missing Ryle's red flags, which I don't think is their fault. I'm not sure if it was intentional, but I feel like the filmmakers could have sprinkled in some more subtler abusive moments. Like Lily flinching when Ryle reaches for something, or him steering her by the arm a little bit too aggressively, or even his domineering tendencies being seen behind closed doors. Instead, he seems like a regular guy that just goes off the rail at the end of the movie. The first real sign of domestic violence doesn't show up until halfway through the movie, and when it does, it's shown as a slip-up than a serious situation. So in the movie, they had this scene where Ryle accidentally hits her while trying to take a hot pan out of the oven. But in the book, the scene is completely different. What happens is when he grabs the pan, he does burn his hand, but he doesn't accidentally, come up and hit her. He looks at his hand and he's like, I have a big surgery coming up. And he takes it out on her, which is a lot more serious and is a totally different thing than it is in the movie. That's two different tones. And don't even get me started on the stair scene. I can hear the arguments already, but Alea is from Lily's perspective so we can see how much he gaslights her. Sure, but I think they should have let us in on Ryle's true intentions from the get-go. Let's see how manipulative and crazy he is from the beginning so we can fully grasp the impact of his behavior. Were they trying to make him redeemable at the end? Because with the context of the movie, if I was a teenage girl, I would have been like, Lily, take him back, he's learning, it's fine. But in the book, it's like a last-ditch effort at manipulation. Look, I can change, just ignore that I'm a walking red flag. I hope I'm articulating myself well. What I'm trying to say is that Ryle's behavior shouldn't be romanticized, it should be villainized. Okay, let's talk about their characters and their actors. Ryle, the handsome, charismatic neurosurgeon. Justin Baldoni brings a natural charm to the character that makes it easy to fall in love with him, just like Lily did. Justin was an excellent choice for this role because he is well-known and beloved, making it harder for audiences to dislike his character in the beginning. But that's the whole point. Abusive partners are good-looking and charming, and they'll use that to their advantage. His acting is solid, but it feels underutilized with the lack of troubling scenes showing his darker side. When Ryle turns serious, there's an undeniable intimidation factor, but the moments were often cut short. This ultimately undermines the complexity of his character and the film's message of abuse. Now let's talk about Lily. Lily, what is you doing, bro? And I'm not talking about her choice in men. I'm talking about her choice in fashion, bro. What is going on here? It was honestly horrendous and it took me out the film. Like, can we agree that every outfit doesn't need to be paired with a jacket? Can we start there? It felt like she was trying way too hard to be fashion forward. It reminded me of those rich TikTokers that are like, oh, let me just put on every designer expensive piece of clothing that I have in my closet. I just feel like the stylist could have done better, or somebody, like whoever was in the costume design department and read the book and thought this was the option, wrap it up. But anyways, now talking about Blake Lively, the chemistry between her and Justin just wasn't there. And I think we can connect the dots knowing the behind the scene drama. Justin directed the film and apparently Blake was being difficult. I mean, I couldn't imagine if I was a director and having someone else come in, stepping in with their changes. That had to be extremely frustrating. And then apparently Ryan Reynolds swoops in and rewrites an entire scene, which I didn't look entirely into, but that's crazy, right? Like, why are we, like, if I was Justin, I'd be like, all right, you do it. You do it. You can go ahead, finish the movie. So that's why when he got questioned if he would do It Starts With Us, he was like, oh, I don't know if I'll come back. I think Blake Lively wants to be a director. I think this is the time for Blake to be a director. And that was very demure. That was very demure of him to say that than to be messy. Very demure.
I think Blake Lively's ready to direct. That's what I think. So, yeah.
So back to the chemistry. It wasn't there with Justin, but it was there with Brendan Skelnar's character Atlas. Which makes sense because the two characters do end up together at the end, so that worked. That's fine. I'll give it to them. But speaking of Atlas, he was my favorite character in the movie. It was very subtle, it was very demure. Let me stop. I feel like there could have been more of the scenes between Atlas and Lily, especially a lot more behind the scenes, flashbacks, more moments between the two of them. I feel like I would have liked that better. But in this movie, what my problems were that I just feel like they were just hitting a plot point and not really giving us a more detailed, stretch it out, show don't tell. It was just like, they were just like, this is what happened here, this is what happened there. It's like, all right, I don't know. In short, it ends with us missed the mark when talking about domestic violence. And I really recommend reading the book if you want to get a more detailed, that's what everyone says. Read the book. The book is, everyone always says the book is better. So I recommend reading the book so that you can get more context on Atlas, the relationship between the Atlas, and then seeing how all the red flags of Ryle that they took out. I give this movie, I didn't love the book. Honestly, I feel like the book was the concept of the book is good, but the writing that Colleen Hoover provided was very simple. Like, that was the first book I read in 2024 because I was trying to get back into reading. So I was like, let me get something simple. And yeah, it's very simple sentences. So the book was fine. And I give this movie, it was fine. I give it a 6 out of 10. Not the worst romance movie in the world. I was sitting there, I enjoyed myself. It wasn't like I was sitting there like, okay, I'm ready to go. So let me know down in the comments what you think of this movie. If you watched it, if you read the book, if you agree with any of my comments, make sure to like and subscribe. We're almost to 4,000 subscribers. All right, I'll see y'all later. Bye.